Youth agitations for a reformed police unit pitched the citizens against the government, and the end result was a complete breakdown of law and order. 1 year after the hijack of the Endsars protest, the authorities and indeed many Nigerians are still counting their losses. Correspondent Joki Adisa examines government response to a movement meant to force change in the police anti-robbery squad.
It began like child's play. Aggrieved youths floated a coalition to force a change in the operations of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigeria Police Force. SARS, as it was commonly called, had for many years been a notorious unit of the police. Unlawful arrests, torture, profiling, indiscriminate and extrajudicial killings, as well as extortion, were some of the allegations leveled against the squad. The protest gathered momentum across states, and those behind it listed 5 demands that must be met to quash the protest. The authorities responded swiftly as the operations of the squad were immediately suspended. Then Inspector General of Police announced the creation of the Special Weapons and Tactics, codenamed SWAT, with a promise that no member of SARS will make the SWAT list. But the agitators were far from being pacified. 1 year after the protest, these citizens appraised government's response to the people's cry.
It was a legitimate protest that was hijacked by hoodlums, by thugs, because there are so many ways to express yourself. Of course, we don't support extrajudicial killings. We don't support police brutality. We believe that any police officer that is involved either in extrajudicial killings, in police brutality, or any form of misconduct must be prosecuted.
An institution like police is not something that you can just wake up one day and then make it happen. But gradually the president and the Inspector General, the new Inspector General of Police, they are doing well. They are working around the clock to see the improvement of the police in this country.
The protest went on. It gained more sympathizers. Soon, the story began to change. The protesters were confronted by those suspected to be government loyalists. In no time, miscreants infiltrated the group. The youths, pushing forth with their demands, eventually led to a breakdown of law and order, the dimensions of which had never been seen in the country. Tears, sorrow, and blood followed. Victor Patola was one of the protesters. He recalls the unfortunate incident and lessons learned.
This response of the government is it's shabby, it's not holistic. It shows that our government has little capacity for solution, the way they handled the whole Endsars protest.
The climax was the Lekki incident, which many believe was government's response to a situation getting out of hand. It remains a source of disagreement between the government and the aggrieved citizens. While the protesters claimed scores of their members were killed by security operatives, the authorities insist no life was lost in its response.
Based on testimonies available in the public space, is that the world may have just witnessed for the very first time ever a massacre without bodies. Soldiers at the Lekki toll gate fired blank ammunition into the air.
These Nigerians believe the ongoing fact-finding mission on police brutality is the right step the authorities took.
I want to believe by my understanding that the youth have come of age. I want to appreciate their behaviors and I want to appreciate their objectivity in issues regarding the governing of this country. And I know tremendously the youth have improved in their sense of thinking.
I have a motion for the Nigerian police to be wearing camcorders, body cams. This will now definitely help a lot because we can now actually see in real time what they do, how they treat Nigerian citizens.
The Lekki incident, which saw soldiers intervene, soon turned the protest into a wild-scale riot. All hell was let loose and Lagos became the epicenter of the crisis as government and private facilities were pilfered and razed by suspected hoodlums. Security operatives, including police stations and police officers, were attacked and killed.
Protest did not achieve its main objective before it was hijacked, but partially it has shown that a group of people can come together and demand a reform, in an organized way from the government.
The police authority will not speak on the steps taken by the police to address the grievances of the protesters, especially on how SWAT has fared so far. Government's response to the Endsars protest in October last year was believed to be timely, but the citizens' distrust robbed the authorities of the effectiveness the response was intended to come with. Though there have been efforts in some states to compensate victims of police brutality, many say there is the need for sustained action to improve the quality of the Nigeria police by making the force more attractive. TVC News, Abuja.